Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rudi and thank you so much for being here. This is a video that I can't believe I haven't done before because I have so many picks from different categories that are luxury. But we are doing a high-end and luxury makeup what is worth your money. And I'm not talking about high-end like Hourglass, which technically is considered high-end slash luxury on Sephora. I'm talking about Givenchy, Armani, Dior, that vibe. I don't have a ton of products in this category, which should tell you the ones that I have kept and kept through my declutter series should tell you these are really, really good. Everything that we're going to talk about in this video I have on today, so if you like this look, definitely keep watching. And if you're looking at my earrings or my necklace and you're like, what's that? We can thank the sponsor of this video, Idyl Jewelry. If you've never heard of Idyl before, they are a jewelry company that creates lab-grown diamond gorgeous pieces. We're talking earrings, necklaces, rings, bracelets. And if you're like, Rudi, diamonds? I know, but trust me when I say these are lab-grown, ethically sourced diamonds. So if you still want that shine from a beautiful diamond, but you want to make sure that you feel good about the purchase, Idyl is the way to go. It is a female-founded brand with 90% female employees, and they're based in Antwerp, which is the diamond capital of the world. So let's talk about the pieces that I picked out and the ones that I have on today, starting with the earrings. So these are the jade earrings with the diamond stud in the petite size. So essentially, if you buy a pair of diamond studs from them, you can change out the bottom pair for a ton of different options on their website. And the one that goes underneath the ear here is called Jade. It is one of their best sellers for a reason. It looks so freaking beautiful and classic, but also has a modern twist to it with it being under the lobe. You can buy the earrings in a single or in a pair depending on how you want to stack your look, which I really love. And you can of course wear the diamond studs on their own without anything underneath, which I love using in my second hole as well. And you know, for necklaces, I had to grab the initial diamond duo necklace. I love an initial necklace, particularly because my name, my husband's name, and my future child's name all start with an R. So I love to have that on my chest. And this is such a great option for people who aren't really into those big bubble necklaces or really gaudy jewelry, but still want a little bit of that modern look and shine from the diamond. It is so subtle, but I love the way it lays. It's incredibly dainty, and this one would be such a good gift to give someone for Christmas, for their birthday, because I think it is universally wearable and layerable. And when I say these diamonds are sparkly, I mean it. Okay, when I opened these, I was absolutely shook at how beautiful and sparkly these looked without even being in direct sunlight. So thank you again to Idyl for sponsoring a portion of this video. You will be seeing me in these pieces all year long, and I will have both of these and more Idyl listed below in the description box. All right, people, let's get into it. All I have on right now are my eyebrows and a little bit of primer, and I'm just wearing the Fenty Dew and Plump. I am obsessed with this primer. It's not luxury, but it's really good. I am not someone, as I mentioned, who buys a lot of luxury makeup. Like, very rarely do I buy luxury makeup. So I really want you to know that these recommendations to me are worth the money for you and kind of like are associated with different memories in my life of why I bought these certain things. Like 2 of these items I bought when I was in France. A few of them I had for my wedding. Like things like that that make them special. So if you're in the market for something special, this is the video for you. Let's start off with the foundation that I am picking as definitely worth your money. This is the Armani Beauty Luminous Silk Foundation. This is gonna run you about $60 to $70. I have had this one for ages. I actually wore this on my wedding day. I have shade 4.5, and there's a reason why people continue to dupe this product. It's because it is truly that good. So I'm gonna use this today, but I also wanted to include another product from Armani that is really great at being a mixing medium for your foundations, your concealers, highlighters, whatever. And that is the Fluid Sheer. I actually bought this, and this is in shade 2. I actually bought this because I saw Hailey Bieber using it, LOL. And it really does give a beautiful glow to the skin. They're very cool looking. Like you can see there's like a nude tone shade, and then there's this like gold foiling within the liquid, which I always thought was really fun. on. And these two pair really well together. I will say, like, looking at everything here, it's giving Dior, Armani, and Givenchy. Just saying. I mean, come on, that's kind of what we want here. All right, so I'm gonna start with one pump of Luminous Silk. This is a thinner foundation, but it gives a really beautiful glow to the skin. And about half a pump of the Fluid Sheer, and you can see they already like mix together so beautifully. And this is just gonna sheer out the foundation a little bit and give it more of a glow, which is kind of what I'm going for in these months. And I'm going to use my sponge to apply this just because it is still a foundation. It's not a skin tint. It's gonna give you foundation like coverage even with the Fluid Sheer. Let me zoom you in. And I'm just really preferring a lighter coverage these days. And of course, without fail, my neighbors have their yard guys here. There is never a time in which, and this is such a first world problem, but there is never a time in which I go to film that my neighbor directly attached to this room is not somehow with their yard people. It's actually crazy. And you can kind of customize this coverage level by adding more or less to the Fluid Sheer in the little mixture, but I just love this foundation and it lasts really beautifully on the skin without looking heavy, which is what we all want. If you watched my last video, you know that I actually just tried out the Armani skin tint version of this and it did not pass the test for me. It's not that it looked bad, it was just, I don't know, it wasn't doing it for me. It was kind of really thin, which like I said, their products are known for being thinner, but it gave almost no coverage to the skin and I don't know, I didn't think it was worth the price when you could get the foundation. This is one light layer of the foundation with the Fluid Sheer mixed in. Again, it's very lightweight. It feels like nothing on my skin. And you can still see I have some of that redness peeking through, but this coverage will last me all day. And I like to fill some of that coverage in rather with my concealers and my correctors and just have a nice canvas to go off of. And this duo will definitely give you that. You can also use the Fluid Sheer on its own as a highlighter, as a base, as a primer, but I really like mixing them together. I just put a little bit of the Kosas brightener under my eyes because I can't live without it as a pregnant person who is not sleeping. But it's going to prep us for our next step, which is my favorite product in this entire video, point blank. And it's actually a Berry Best Award winner. This is the Prism Libre Skin Caring Concealer from Givenchy. I am obsessed with this concealer and it's funny because I didn't have it out for a while and when we did my declutter, I like was kind of looking at everything again and I pulled it out because I knew that I would be using it for this video. And I have been using it now like every single time I do my makeup and I'm like, wow, I don't know that any other concealer is ever gonna be as good as this. It is just so creamy. It is thin, it is lightweight, it gives a nice medium coverage, it gives a bit of glow to the skin. It basically gives me everything I want in a concealer. This is gonna run you $40, okay? However, I feel like the way that makeup is going these days, that sounds pretty on par with like Patrick Ta, Makeup by Mario. Their concealers are probably closer to the 30s range, but like, you know, for a concealer this beautiful, I am more than willing to pay that $40 price point. And I know that sounds crazy, but there's a reason why I named it the Berry Best Award, which if you don't know what that is, every year at the end of the year, I do a award for the best makeup in each category. And I literally just choose one product per category. And for concealer, this one is the one that won last year, which says a lot because I am so picky about my concealers. And as I get older, drier, crepier, etc., I get even more picky. And I don't know if you can tell how much that's just brightened up my under eyes without making it look heavy, without making it look cakey. I have used this all over as a foundation before, but it works well with skin tints, it works well with foundations, it layers really beautifully with brighteners, which is something that I'm really into right now. And it truly does hydrate the skin. It's listed as a 24-hour hydrating, radiant, and correcting creamy concealer. So for me, hydrating and radiant while also having a bit of coverage is pretty hard to find on the market, and this one absolutely does it. I like to use it on other areas of my face as well where I might be having redness where my foundation didn't cover it, and it just helps give me such a beautiful even base. And I am wearing shade W245. You get a good amount of product in here as well. You're getting 0.37 fluid ounces, and I just highly recommend if you're going to try anything from this video that it it be this concealer. I put on a bit of the cream blush in Tan Line from Rhode and bronzer because I don't have a bronzer rec at this moment, but I do have some blush recs. I have two. I have one from Dior and I have one from Giorgio Armani. Goodness gracious. Okay, so I got this little Dior one in France and it has a lot of memories associated to it because of that. This is the Rosy Glow blush in the shade Rosewood. This is kind of like a perfect mid-toned pinky mauve shade. I actually don't own anything really quite like it. It's a really beautiful, sorry, the light's a little shitty today, but it's a really beautiful, almost berry-ish shade. And I don't, like I said, I don't have a lot like it. And I'm going to use kind of a luxury product, the Pat McGrath brush in, doesn't say, but it's like this, a domed blush brush. And I'm gonna put this on first and then we'll go in with the Armani blush. These are not super pigmented, which I personally really love because I have a hard time with blending really pigmented powder blushes because I'm not a person who loves to wear a ton of powder. And so the fact that these are pressed and they don't kick up a bunch means that you will have a much easier time blending them than those sort of really powdery baked blushes that can kick up a lot of product. And this is a matte product, but it doesn't come off super flat on the skin and it just gives you a really nice flush, and it just reminds me of my trip. We went to France for my 30th birthday because we were supposed to go on a honeymoon and we got married during COVID, which we just eloped. I have a whole story time on how we ended up missing our honeymoon. Do you want to hear it? And I bought a couple pieces of Dior makeup to like make me feel special while I was there, and this was one of them. This is kind of like a sunburn type of blush, which I really like. It's really, really beautiful, and I also love the shade Rosewood in their lip oils. Then I'm going to take another shade. This is from Armani and this is in shade 11. The only thing I don't like about Armani is that all of their stuff is listed as numbers and not as names, which is kind of annoying. But this is like the most perfect boring blush. Do you know what I mean? Those like skin tone style blushes, like my skin tone, that are kind of orangey. It's a little orangey, it's a little nude. They're just perfect. And they look so boring in the pan, but when you put them on, they make you look so naturally warm and sun-kissed, and this one is no exception. I love this shade, and I love both of these formulas. Like I said, they're both matte, but I really love the Givenchy a little bit more. I find them even easier to blend than the Dior blushes because they do kick up a bit more, which makes it just slightly easier to get the color on, whereas the Dior you kind of do have to get in there a little bit. But this shade in particular is so unique, and I just continue to use it. It kind of reminds me of Harmony or True Harmony from MAC, if you've ever tried those. The powder blushes are $40 and they have won quite a few Allure Best of Beauty awards. And the Dior blushes have recently been reformulated, but these run you $42. I also love that you can see the color of the blush on the top of the packaging of the Dior ones. I am looking a little blushy. Who would have thought? Okay, I have two highlighters that I want to talk about here, and I really don't know what to do because one is a cream and one is a powder, and I want to talk about them both. So we're going to. I think we'll start with our powders, and then we can put the cream blush on top, kind of like Patrick Ta likes to do. This is like the OG highlighter, like balm stick. This is the Chanel Sculpt and Glow Balm Essential Multi-Use Stick in the shade Sculpting, and this has made it through multiple declutters because it is just the most perfect highlighter. It has no glitter, no shimmer. It's just a beautiful champagne sheen, and it's just the OG. Like, I feel like so many brands have tried to replicate this, and the Chanel one continues to be so, so good. I'm just gonna use a little domed brush to pick this up off of the product instead of putting it directly on my skin, because sometimes with these kind of balm style products, if you put them on, particularly on top of powders, it can lift that powder underneath, and nobody wants that. Didn't I just say I was gonna do the powder? It's okay, we'll use both. This is just so beautiful, I had to put it on. It makes you feel glowy in a non-greasy way. If you're someone who has been wanting to try a stick highlighter, this is a great place to start because it is so user-friendly friendly. You could use it directly on the skin, especially if you have on like just a skin tint, or if you wanted to do this and a mascara and go out the door. Like, it will add such a luminosity to your makeup. It's not sticky, but it is tacky on the skin, so just keep that in mind. But the best ones of these are always a little tacky. It's just kind of part of the glow. And it just kind of brings your makeup back to life after being super matte. See that? Oh, I love it. I am a stick highlighter person over like almost any other highlighter. I mean, I look downright sweaty, which is what I like, okay? That's what I like, so don't come for me. The funny thing is the Chanel products I think are available at Ulta makeup wise, but Chanel is not available at Sephora, which I find odd. This will run you $48, so quite expensive. You do get a lot of product in here though. You get 0.28 ounces. So it's a substantial, beautiful packaging, and it's just absolutely stunning and gives you the most gorgeous glow. So highly, highly recommend that one. The other highlighter that I have is of course the Dior Backstage Glow Face Palette. This is another product that I got in France, I think. And it's just like, I'll never get rid of it. I think it is so freaking pretty. This is the original one in Universal, in 001 Universal. So it comes with a white, like a white glowy highlighter. This one's my favorite, obviously. In gold, and then a pinkish shade in, say it with me, pink, and a bronze shade in bronze. So they count the pink and the bronze as blush, and they count these as strobe, but you can use them however you want. Like, they are really so beautiful. They have quite a bit of pigment in them. So I'm going to use these kind of on top of what we have going on as like a little blush topper, a little highlight topper, a little bronzer topper. And I'm just going to use a brush that's kind of like loosey-goosey that will hopefully not put too much down. This is actually from e.l.f. This is their contour brush. This is $48, which is not bad for 4 shades. These are kind of a like a baked formula, and I'm just gonna put this pink shade on top of the blush just to add a bit of glow. I'm gonna take the bronze shade and just kind of go over my bronzer. They're coming out with a new shade in this too that's like pinky undertones, which I think I'm gonna have to get. I love traveling with this as well because it gives, I put a big bunch right there. It gives you a lot of options for different ways to wear it, and I just think it is so beautiful. It's also great to use as an eyeshadow, so I'll use some of these as an eyeshadow as well once we go in with the eyeshadow that I picked. Which, speaking of eyeliners, we are back with another Armani pick. I've actually worked with them on ads for these, and the fact that these have made it through multiple declutters should tell you something. These are their eye tints, and again, I hate that they don't have names. We have shade 22M, 30W, and 36M. And these are like the most perfect neutral eyeshadows ever. They're liquid. I think I'm gonna use a bit of 22W because it's kind of this like mauvey brown shade, and I just love that kind of undertone on my eyes. And these are so easy to apply. I mean, you could really just take any brush. I just kind of put them directly on the middle of my eyelid, and you can blend with your fingers, you can blend with a brush, and they give you a gorgeous wash of color all over the lid, and these dry down and do not budge. It's so hard to find like a really good one and done eyeshadow, specifically like in really nice warm tone nude shades. Obviously, I love my Merit eyeshadows. I was just testing out the Mario ones, but I think that in terms of a liquid eyeshadow, these are definitely the best. I like the House Labs ones as well, but the shades that they have of the Armani are really beautiful, and they layer really well, which is another thing that I've noticed with some shadows. Like the Merit shadows do not layer. So like I'll take a little bit of 30M, which is more of like a cool toned brown, and put this on the outer, and these will just melt together so beautifully. I think something with liquid shadows, once they start to dry, I don't know if it's like they refuse to blend together, but these are amazing. Genuinely, they work so well together, and they give you a little bit of time to blend them because they're kind of like a creamy formula rather than a liquid, like a full liquid. So you can put them down and like take your time to manipulate them instead of just having to swatch them really quickly and then blend, which like you do have to be a little fast, but it's not anything crazy. And I always get questions when I use specifically the shade 22M because it is just like such a nice mauvey brown shade. And again, they work so well together. Armani just really knows what they're doing when it comes to makeup. I'll just be honest with you. Then we can go in back to the Dior palette, and I don't know if you can see just how beautiful and sheeny my cheeks look. And I'm gonna use this little gold shade here for my inner corner. It's just so, so beautiful. And again, these don't have like a shimmer. They're just a sheen, which is what I want. And I'll take a little bit of this white shade underneath the brow bone. This is like a palette that you need specifically for like events and bridal makeup and stuff like that. It looks so good at night, specifically like if you're getting photos taken, this is the one. And I could go on top with this bronze shade with my finger and just put it in the center to add a little bit of shimmer to the eye look. It's really quite universally flattering, and they have multiple shades to choose from. It's kind of like the vibe of Charlotte Tilbury, but it's compact and easy to use and not limited edition. I feel like Charlotte Tilbury always comes out with these kinds of things, and they're always limited edition, which is so annoying. She is glowing. Okay, put on a little bit of Kosas Soul Gazer mascara, but this look is so, sorry I keep looking at the viewfinder. Someone told me I do that. I'm sorry. It's glowing. I love it. Obviously for lips, to finish off this look, we're going with Dior products. Like, Dior lip products are just so freaking good, and there's a reason that they have a cult following. And I want to start with the Lip Glow Color Reviver Balm. This is another product that I got in France, and I got it specifically because I wanted that like red lip look that the Parisian and French women have, but something that fit my skin tone. This is in shade 31, and they don't really have a scent. I love the packaging. Like, the bullet is just so pretty, and this one kind of gives like a strawberry finish to the lips, but it is completely sheer. Like, you see, I can kind of like build it up in terms of pigment, which I love because I don't want a full red lip most of the time. I just want a little like blotted moment. And this is like in between a super glowy balm, even though it's called the Glow Balm, and like a satin lipstick. I love this formula over like the Glossier Ultra Lips or even the Glossier Generation G, because it still gives you a little bit of that like matte look on the lip without going overboard, and it feels so comfortable. So I love that like middle of the road pigmentation in a lip product, which I know is strange, but that is such a good one. And we're gonna top it, of course, with our Dior Lip Glow oils. These are my two favorite shades that have again made it through all of my declutters. This is in the shade Bronze Glow, which is limited edition, so sad, and I believe Mahogany, which is the one we'll use today because this is part of their permanent line. There was a time in which I just like could not get enough of the lip glow oils, and I think they are so good, and they continue to be duped by other brands, but there was a time when this was like the only one, you know, like the super thick lip oil formula. It was not super popular when these came out, and so I remember just being completely obsessed with them, and I still think that they're worth your money, specifically in these shades that are a little bit more skin tone. They do have a pH adjusting in them, so they will give you a slight tint to the lip underneath the shine, and it comes in a lot of shades. I still recommend Mahogany. Bronze Glow is on Sephora's website. Bronze Glow and Mahogany, and I also love the shade Berry. I had the shade Rosewood, but I felt like it wasn't as special as these. So these are the two I would definitely recommend if you're gonna grab one. If you want one that's like everyday wearable, I would go for Bronze Glow, and these are $42, and I think that they are worth the money because the formula is rich. It feels luxurious, and I love the uniqueness of these two shades specifically. I'm going to childbirth class right after this, and the people are gonna be like, wow, she's really done up for childbirth class. But I love this look. I love how glowy it is. If I had to tell you, if you were only gonna pick a few things from this video, it would be these three. The concealer from Givenchy, absolutely a 10 out of 10. The Dior Backstage palette, specifically in the shade Universal, and the lip glow oils from Dior are just so uniquely special. Also the highlighter from Chanel. And thank you again to Idyl for sponsoring a portion of this video. I have so enjoyed wearing these pieces. They are absolutely stunningly beautiful, and you can find links to these and more Idyl products in the description below. And I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you in the next one really soon. Bye!